Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Altamont ZBA meeting. Exits are to your left, back here, and right here. For the record, both the audio and visual portions of this meeting will be recorded. My name is Deborah Hext. I'm the Zoning Board Chair, and at this time, I would like every member of the Zoning Board to introduce themselves, starting with Danny.
Danny Ramirez.
Andrea Witham.
James Sullivan.
Simon Litton.
Barb Mulfelder.
Bob Freeman.
Thank you, guys. Also representing the village tonight is Gary Goss, our building inspector / secretary tonight, and Tressa Matulowicz, our village board liaison. One thing I would like to note tonight, if anyone is here thinking that we were going to review the Troy Miller application tonight, at the request of Troy a few weeks ago, that meeting has been put off. So it will not be on tonight. I know it was in the enterprise, but one thing I would like to say is if you want to know what's on the agenda, whether it's for a village board meeting or a zoning board meeting, please check the Altamont website or call the village office. They can tell you. Okay, with that, we only have one item on our agenda tonight, and that is to review a request for a variance submitted by Mark Fanuelli at 36 Sanford Place to allow parking a 2016 enclosed trailer and driveway on the side of the garage. So, Mark, do you want to come up to the mic and just give a quick?
My name's Mark Fanuelli. I've been living at 36 Sanford since '93. And I have always parked the trailer on the side of my house. It's kind of like the basketball court when my kids were little. And it's tucked in on the side of my garage, and I use it for total recreational dirt bikes in the summer, snowmobiles in the winter. And I didn't realize I'm not in compliance with the variance until I got the letter. So I got with Gary immediately and filled out the application, which was quite lengthy and extensive. To the best of mine and Gary helped me out a lot, was instrumental in helping me navigate that. And the main reason is if I put it in the back, I could do that. If I have mature trees on both sides, so I would kind of have to impinge on either neighbor's property to be in compliance. But where it sets, it's kind of blocked by a huge mature pine tree, my garage on one side, my neighbor's mature apple tree on the other side, and then all my vehicles kind of block it. If I backed it into my yard, it would be exposed on all sides for all my neighbors, including all the people that, like, when you come down Group Drive, I live on not a corner lot, but I'm next to the corner. So I just figured that was hopefully the best spot to have it. It's been there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I would move it in the back, but it would be pretty much having to cut down mature trees, which I really don't want to do, and put another drive in.
Could you cut the bottoms off the one tree that sits behind, and that way get it a little further in?
Yeah, I could try to manicure the tree a bit, but I really don't want to take it down because it's kind of my privacy from the road.
Yeah.
Where it sets, it's pretty much blocked on 3 sides, and then most times 4 sides. Then when you throw in the summertime where the trees are full,
In bloom.
he's got a maple tree in the front, my neighbor on the side. My main concern was the people on that side of the house.
On the right side,
The
looking at your
side where
house?
the trailer sets,
Yeah.
they're an older couple, friends of mine.
Yeah,
And I went right to them, and he said, no, I've never had a problem with
you
it.
submitted a nice letter.
And Chuck's a really good guy, and we kind of kibitz over our gardens. That's where we spend most of our time. So that's why I applied for the variance, because I really didn't want to impinge on his or any of my neighbors.
Sure.
I was trying to, ever since day one, I've had it there kind of tucked in so that it was not as much of an eyesight as it could possibly be.
All right, well, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or observations that you would like to discuss with Mark? Barb?
Hi. I drove by today, and I did see the trailer, and I did see the big tree. If you did cut down some of the lower branches, it looked like the driveway or the macadam ended, so you'd have to really park it on your lawn.
Yeah, I
from
really
what
didn't want to do
gather.
that because the main reason is the clay. You know,
Right,
if I had something that was like a boat trailer that sets for 4 or 5 months, where like
Yeah.
it's storage, it's
Yeah.
something I use pretty much every weekend. Sometimes it's not a work thing
Yeah.
at all, it's just
right. I did see that it's,
I ride snowmobiles in the
Awkward
winter
there.
and dirt bikes in the summer, and
Yeah.
that's the whole gist of it. Me and my kid do it together.
yeah. Thank you.
I did take a ride by, and it's, being in your situation, snowmobiles, no dirt bikes, but having to have a trailer parked and whatever, I mean, it's a nice trailer. It's not like it's an old handmade trailer or anything of that nature. It's up to date, neat property, it's parked, tucked in. I really didn't see, and I would, you know, and of course, well, we've got a letter from your neighbor too,
Right.
so, I mean, I would hate to see cutting down any more trees or anything like that, especially to keep, if you know, anybody from the back can see over.
Right.
I'm sure it's fenced in, but I myself personally thought it was neat and tidy, and again, it's a newer trailer, it's not anything that's old, or it's not a billboard for anything.
If it was like a
It's-
scrapper's trailer, which you
Right.
see that on occasion,
Right,
it
so,
wouldn't even be there.
I mean, in my opinion, I thought it was, you know,
Thank you.
See, but that, what you just said is part of the issue. If, are we setting a precedent here? So the next person that comes before us that has a scrapper trailer or has an RV that's falling apart that they swear they're going to redo it at some point in time, you know, we have to look at the whole picture. And, you know, I know you, you know me, your
Yep.
property's always been beautiful. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with what we're doing going forward.
sure. But, you know, and again, yeah, and something like that, that's what, and if they say they're gonna do something with it, then you set it, you know, whatever. You say, listen, you have X amount of time to do it, you know, and be good on your word. I mean, I don't think, you know, I know you also, and I know that, you know, you keep your stuff nice. So.
We keep our property as neat and tidy as we can. My main concern was my neighbors, you know, I went right to them and I said, he goes, I have never had a problem with that. I said, oh, okay. He says, you want me to write a letter? I will. I said, okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And that
They're
means a
super
lot.
nice-
That does.
Super
Yeah.
nice couple.
Yeah.
And we do a lot for them, they do a lot for us. But most of our, if I moved it to where you're saying, that's where we meet on the evenings after work. Because my wife has raised beds, they have little gardens. And we spend most of our time with our neighbors across our backyard fence, you know. So,
Anybody else have,
I just had a question to clarify with Gary. The checklist says a use, but the paperwork says area. Is it just common paperwork for both?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so I drove by also and everything looks great. The trailer's in great condition, property's beautiful, makes me feel like I need to go out and take care of my yard a
just
little
looking
bit.
inside my house, my outside looks better than my inside.
My only concern was how we handled a similar request for a use variance in the fall. Similar situation, it wouldn't have impacted neighbors at all, and it was made really clear that there were certain criteria that had to apply, and we weren't able to help this person out. And it seems like we'd have to apply that same criteria, right?
well, actually, it was on him. He never came back.
Okay,
He dropped it.
okay,
It was going to be a done deal, and he never came back before the boards. So
okay,
it wasn't on the boards, it was on the applicant.
okay.
Question, is it a licensed trailer, insured?
It's always been registered and licensed and insured.
Thank you.
It's kind of like a mini RV, you know, we race motocross on the weekends, so we kind of live out of it on the weekends. So, and it's like a little mini shop, but it's not a business thing. But, you know, moving off the property was my first consideration. It was just too much money there. It's a $10,000 trailer, I probably got about $10,000 worth of tools in it. Then if you throw dirt bikes in it, they're $10,000 a piece. Snowmobiles, $15,000 a piece. I like it where it is, and I was hoping that I could come, you know, I immediately responded to Gary's letter, and Gary was instrumental in helping me navigate the forms and to make sure I had all the information that you guys could possibly use to look at the situation.
And you did a very good job.
And I also think one of the most important things is that you're good with your neighbors, and that's
right.
that's a big thing.
I think if it was to move in the back, it would impact, it would be like a big blockade between me and my neighbors. We help them, they help us all the time, so.
If we grant the variance, that variance becomes a permanent part of that property?
Well, Gary and I were just talking about that. I don't know. Does it, or would, if they were to move and somebody else wanted to park an RV, does that go with the property, or would they have to reapply?
I think it depends on how your ruling is. I believe, in speaking with Allison about this, she seemed to indicate that there's a way to allow it.
Put a condition?
Yeah, condition where it would sunset with the property, like if he were to sell the house and new owners were to move in, or if the tree were to die and the tree had to get cut down, that would change the situation how it currently is.
Well, I would definitely want to apply a situation, because as what we were talking about before with someone who's got something that's, not as well kept, registered or anything like that, I think we'd be safe in putting that condition on it, and even keeping it to I don't want to limit it to
Well, we could
size
certainly.
or anything like that, but I mean, you might want just to safeguard the next owner if Mark decides to sell.
We could certainly do it on a property by property basis. If someone, if we're not doing anything tonight, it has to go to a public hearing, so it wouldn't be until next month. But if this variance was approved, and then someone else came before us and said, hey, you approved this one, why can't I do it? And
Just have to look at the
You gotta look at
criteria,
the
though. I
problem,
mean, you have to look at it as, situation by situation, I would
Right.
say.
It has to be, you can't use precedents, I don't believe it. You may want to check with Allison on that, but you can't use precedents when you can.
say that,
I'm sorry,
We
I
can't
can't
hear
hear you.
You can't, I don't think you can, and you may want to check with Allison. I don't think you can use precedents with new applicants. You can't look back at old applications. I think it has to each be dealt with as a unique application. And check with Allison on that, but I think precedents, I think it can get tricky, but as a board, I don't think you can say, well, we did it for so-and-so, so now we have to do it
well,
for this.
no, we wouldn't say that. An applicant would say.
And I think you could use that as an argument that, you can't, this is a unique situation.
Right.
Precedent doesn't apply.
I think each situation has to be examined as you go, for sure.
I agree.
I think that's what those three criteria are, and they have to be applied equally, yeah.
Right, right.
Now, I think this is important for the board to know this piece of information. I saw Mark's trailer in the driveway because he just got back from a trip. When I was doing my drive-arounds in the village, I found 5 trailers that same night. His was one of them. The other, just because he didn't have it tucked back into the parking space yet. And I've been doing those drives for a year and a half, and I haven't noticed it until that day. So that shows you, that it was just by chance that I happened to see that
Yeah,
part there.
yeah. Thank you for that, Gary.
Thank you for
Anyone
your
else?
consideration.
I was just jotting my notes down. Not dangerous. Because it's not a permanent fixture or structure, I'd recommend that, should the variance go forward to be approved, that the size of the trailer, the registration of that trailer, be noted on that variance,
Okay,
because they don't last forever. If you want to get another trailer, you're going to have to step forward. I would recommend and get another variance and register that particular one.
Yeah. Good one. We can make that as a condition as well.
Which is, won't create any hardship on you, it's just, following the paper trail.
yeah, no, it's been been a learning lesson for me, and I'm glad, you know, I've lived in Altamont for 30 years, so I finally, but I want to play by the rules, do whatever. I originally said, well, I'll just move it off the property, and then I was like,
Yeah.
you know, there's just too much value there.
I'm the same way. I've got, my garage is I got a camera in it, you don't want to leave
Yep.
tools. I know the expense, and you don't want
And
to
no
do that.
disrespect to the scrapper, but I do work in the trades, I work in construction, have for 30 years, 35 years, and you'll see it all.
Oh, yeah.
So if there was anything like that, I wouldn't even make it in my yard. Me and my wife are too, you know, uptight about it, we're gonna keep our yard.
No, it's, all right, we do have Gary sent a request to the Albany County Planning Board, and they basically defer to the local municipality. So their judgment, they're fine with it as long as we're fine with it. So, so that's that. Thanks, Mark. I think if no one else has anything, Gary, Tressa, anything? Andrea?
Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Mark, and, all right, that said, could I have a motion to schedule the public hearing on this for May, I think it was May 23rd?
Yeah, it's the 23rd.
May 23rd.
I'll motion.
Bob?
I'll second that.
Danny? Okay. Roll call, Gary.
Okay. Board Member Ramirez,
Approved?
Board Member Mulfeller,
I approve.
Board Member Litton,
Approve.
Board Member Freeman,
Approved.
Board Member Sullivan,
Approved?
Board Member Witham,
Approved.
and Chairperson Hess.
In favor. And with that, I will read the resolution document that was drafted by, you can relax. All right, so
Thank you.
I'm not going to read all the whereas, but I will read from here. Now therefore be it resolved as follows by the Planning/Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Altamont, Albany County, New York. The ZBA determines that the application is complete for the purposes of its review. The ZBA hereby determines that the proposed use qualifies as an unlisted action under seeker. A public hearing on the application shall be held May 23rd, 2023 at Village Hall. It is further resolved that the Village of Altamont ZBA hereby requires the board chair, secretary/clerk, and/or village attorney to take the appropriate steps to effectuate this resolution, including any filing and distribution requirements. Whereupon this resolution was declared adopted by the Village of Altamont Zoning Board of Appeals. So, could I have a motion on that resolution, please?
I make the motion.
Barb,
I'll second.
Simon,
Let's see, Board Member Ramirez,
Approved.
Board Member Mulfeller,
Approved.
Board Member Litton,
Approved.
Board Member Freeman,
Approved.
Board Member Sullivan,
Approved?
Board Member Witham,
Approved.
and Chairperson Hess.
in favor. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mark. You will, hopefully, nothing happens in between, but, the public hearing will be on May 23rd at 7 PM right here. Feel free to bring anybody that you want, or,
Thank you so much.
If
Thank you.
If you would be so kind as bring the information on the trailer, okay?
I'll make a photocopy of my reg and all that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Excellent.
okay. The only other item on our agenda tonight is to review the minutes of the March 28th meeting. Barb?
It was good. There were no problems. I had, I'm sorry, did I have a, no, there were some points for the Troy Miller. No corrections.
Okay.
I thought that Troy said that he had intended the back section of that property, the section that would go on to Schoharie Plank Road to be a family compound.
I don't think you used the word compound.
That would, he wanted that to be separated from the rest of the development and reserved for his family. I thought he said that.
He said something similar to that.
For his children.
For- yeah.
For his
And
children.
for
Yeah, I
himself.
don't think
For
he
himself,
referred to
exactly.
it as like a compound,
Yeah.
which depending on how many children he's got,
He's got 3.
it might be, but I mean, you know,
I don't know
Just
if
for
that's
a family.
significant, but I don't see that here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a public hearing, so, technically, it doesn't have to be verbatim.
Oh, all right,
The
okay.
only time it has to be verbatim is if it's a public hearing.
Right,
But, I'm glad that people are paying attention and, finding things such as that. If it had been a public hearing, it could be an issue. I don't think,
that was such an odd comment.
well, I think he was trying to qualify or clarify why they couldn't or wouldn't
Wouldn't.
make all entrances from Western Avenue. And I think,
Yeah, exactly.
he finally said, well, here's why.
Yes.
which, I think that even more would be, I would hope that would be a little bit more accepting, if you will, the folks on Schoharie. It's a family, yes, it's gonna be 4 houses of a family, but
Well, we can, discuss all this next month.
Yeah, he didn't want a pass road
One in
through there,
college.
some
Right.
kind
Yeah.
of cut through,
And
whatever.
two in, like, maybe high school.
Anything else on the minutes?
You're not gonna be moving into those.
Okay, then can I have a motion to accept the minutes from March 28th, 2023?
So moved?
Okay, James, second.
Second?
Danny? Roll call, please, Gary.
Approved.
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 In favor?
In favor.
In favor. Does anyone have anything else that they would like to discuss tonight? Any other business, anything?
So will we have a public hearing for Troy next month?
As long as they have everything that we requested of them together.
Okay.
They needed more time to get the extra materials together.
Okay.
So,
I misunderstood. I thought that we weren't going to have a public hearing tonight, but that he would be presenting.
No, I mean, we've already, I think we've already moved past the point of a concept, review,
Yes,
or,
right.
they know what we want of them now.
Good.
So,
Good.
They can present it
Yep.
next time or the month after that. But, again, everybody needs to remember, board members included, check the agenda, check the agenda. Ginger sends it out, especially to board members. But no, Troy's not on there.
This is the one that I think this came in my packet.
She sent one out a couple of weeks ago. Now, this was in my
Just check.
packet.
That's not what I got in my packet. No. Oh,
This was in my packet,
weird.
and it doesn't say anything
I got
about
the
Troy.
same, maybe you thought that,
Yeah.
I think people got confused, including some of the public. One, the Altamont Enterprise wrote an
Well,
article.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know that,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I can't speak for them, but they
Yeah.
really,
I
they
think
should
the
follow
last
suit
meeting
and
was
check.
discussion of it, the date for it
Yeah.
was not set.
No, the date for it was set.
It was,
We
okay.
did set a date, but, that isn't official, actually, until the night of the meeting. They could cancel right up to the night of the
Oh,
meeting.
really?
Oh, well,
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, lesson learned by everybody. Anybody have anything else? Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting then, please?
I make the motion.
Barb,
I'll second it.
Or third it.
Simon? Okay, roll call, please.
Board Member Ramirez.
In favor.
Board Member Multnomah.
Approve.
Board Member Layton.
Approved.
Board Member Freeman.
Approved.
Board Member Sullivan.
In favor?
Board Member Whitman.
In favor.
Chairperson Hess.
In favor. Thank you, everybody. I apologize if anyone in this mass audience were confused. But, do you want a copy of the resolution document, Mark? I made a couple corrections on it, but. All right, thank you. Good job on the, good job.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. That's what I'm here for.
I come in here and everything's so neat, and then
Twice in how many months? I can't believe it. So this is, so you know what happened now, don't you? I know where you live.
Thank you.